the Music Coach, and welcome to this video where we're going to talk about how to create a fertile ground for a musical home to grow. I'm sure that you've had the experience of walking into someone else's house for a party or a holiday, and it seems like everyone is musical, like people picking up guitars and sitting at pianos and singing along, and it just seems like it's all natural and it's happening and it's really beautiful. And you may have wondered, like, how does that happen? How do those homes happen? And unfortunately, you might think, well, those people that's a musical family, and they're musical and I'm not, and that's the reason why we don't have that. And that's a complete and total lie. The truth behind it is that those people found a way to create a fertile ground for people to feel safe and express themselves and challenge themselves and set goals so that they could play music together. And they probably did all of this without even really knowing that that's what they were doing. So I'm going to lay it out for you and explain how this actually happens. So in my family home, there were no musicians. My parents loved music, but they didn't play. I didn't grow up watching people play. And both my brother and I ended up being professional musicians. So you might go, how did that happen? And there were a lot of things that my parents did that I think they didn't even realize that they were doing. One really simple thing is we listened to music and we talked about what we liked about it. And hearing them share that with me was really invaluable. When we took long car rides, we would listen to, I know that my parents, there was an oldies station that they really liked, which was like 50s and 60s rock. And we had dialogues about, like, who is that artist and when did you first hear that? And they would share stories with me about where they were when they heard that song or what kind of meaning it had to them. So a great way to set this up for yourself is in your own home. You can initiate it. And a great way to do it is to allow everyone a chance, even if you got little people in your life, to share a piece of music that they feel moved by. And feeling moved by music can be all sorts of different feelings. It doesn't have to just be this song makes me feel happy. It can be this song makes me feel sad, or this song makes me feel like agitated, or it's just what you're looking for is something that makes you feel something. And a good forum for that is to, go to the living room and decide that we're gonna spend, a half an hour doing this, and everybody gets to pick one song. You might want to set some ground rules where, there's not going to be any songs with any swearing in it or inappropriate, whatever for your family you feel is appropriate. And then while you put your song on, everybody agrees to be in silence and really listening. And this just develops so much good ability, not just for music, but just the ability to sit for 3 to 5 minutes at a time and really listen to what's going on around you is such an important life skill that will really have a huge impact on everyone. And you might want to set some other very simple ground rules, which is, it's like everything I learned in kindergarten, which is if you don't have anything nice to say, you don't have to say anything. It's better not to say something really negative because people are sharing something that means something to them. And learning how to have that dialogue is important too, to be able to say, it's not to my taste, instead of, it sucks, or I don't like that song. Or it's the same way that we teach each other how, if someone prepares a beautiful meal for you and it's something you don't like to eat, you can talk to them about that in a way that's not going to hurt their feelings. And music is the same way. You can then expand on this game by adding in some other artistic elements. One really fun one that I like to do is do the same thing, put on a piece of music, everyone gets to bring something that they feel moved by, and everybody just takes a piece of paper, and during that time, they just draw or sketch something that they feel is connected to their experience of that music. And then everybody can share that with each other and talk about, well, I shaded this thing this way because it made me think of a cloud, or it made me think of a tree, or it made me think of this or that. And again, it's an exercise in not being critical. It's just expressing yourself through art while listening at the same time. And another variation of it can be to do the same thing of having a listening circle and have everyone write down an idea for a short story. Something that they, either through the lyrics, if it has that kind of thing in it, or if it's instrumental, just talk about, I'm seeing a story about, somebody walking their dog in the woods when I hear this. And again, as long as no one is being harsh with each other about it, it's a really neat window into how we all experience music differently. Making time to watch movies that are about famous musicians or famous music is also another great way to help get a really fertile ground for music going in your own home. There are tons of great documentaries about all sorts of things, about, you know, the backup musicians in Motown, or, you know, even about famous composers like Mozart and, you know, Johnny Cash and Ray Charles. And you can watch and discuss and talk about what their music, you know, what the music of that artist or what the story of that musician, what you thought about it and what it meant to you. The more you share your own experience with other people about how music moves you, the more it grows inside of you and the more passion that you have for it. With all of us traveling in cars so much these days, another great musical fertilization that you can do is to plan on having music on car trips and really having people listen. For a lot of us, actually, the best stereo that you're going to own is going to be in your car. Car stereos are usually quite high quality, so it's a great way to experience music. One thing that's happened, unfortunately, as we've gotten into more individual devices of smartphones, and I mean, it started with Walkmans and CD players and things like that, is we tend to experience music isolated. Each person will have earphones in and be in their own world experiencing music, which in a way is great. It's nice to have some personal time with music, but one of the things we've really lost is the connection and the sharing of our joy with each other. So trying to set that up on travel times together with your family can be great, or with your friends, and just talking about and sharing it and letting everybody have a turn with the stereo and putting on the music that they like.